right, eighth grade math. Today we are doing Pythagorean theorem and we are working on word problems. So we're going to first go through the steps and then I will do these examples for you. So it says step one is to draw a picture if it is not provided. Step two is to read the problem to identify the labels. Step three is to label the picture. And then we're going to solve for the missing side just as we have done in prior days. So if you have all of your notes, these are the steps on how to solve for our missing side length. So let's read through the problem and see what we are creating. First off, you should know that there's only a couple of shapes that you can use for this. Pythagorean theorem is always, always, always based off of a right triangle. A right triangle can come from two different shapes, which is a rectangle or a square. So you could be drawing a rectangle, a square, or a triangle, pretty much. So I'm going to read through this, draw pictures, and start solving to show you. So it says Joshua played tennis on a rectangular court. So he's on a rectangular court. That was 82 feet by 45 feet. So this is shorter, so I'll put my 45 there, and this is longer, so I'm going to put my 82 there. After the game, he walked across the court diagonally. So he's going to walk across the court diagonally from one corner to the opposite corner. Approximately what distance did he walk? So if I was using this, I know that I can put a right triangle right here. So everything that's touching my right triangle is my A's and B's. So this is A, this is B, and your diagonal will always be your C. So I am going to write out the equation. I'm going to plug in what I know. I'm going to take the shortcut and just do square root of 45 squared plus 82 squared, and that will give me my answer. So I'm going to pop up my calculator and I'm going to clear this out and go 45 squared plus 82 squared equals, and then take the square root of that. So my answer is 93.5. Okay, on to number two. It says Miss Green tells you that a right triangle, so it tells Miss Green is telling us that she have a right triangle. Let me go ahead and draw my right triangle. So I know this is going to be my A, this is my B, and this is my C. I know that because I'm drawing it, so I know that directly across is going to be my C, and the two that touch it is my A and B. So Miss Green tells you that the right triangle has a hypotenuse of 13. Hypotenuse is my C. So that's 13, and it has one leg of 5. She doesn't tell us which leg, so we can literally apply it to either one. I'm just going to put it at my A since it's a very low number. And then I'm solving for B. And this says solve for the missing leg. So I am going to go ahead and write out my equation. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. My A is 5. I don't know my B. And my C is 13. So same thing as here. When they are on the same side and you normally would add, you're going to add them. But if they're on the opposite sides and you would have to subtract them, you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to subtract. So I'm going to do square root of 13 squared minus 5 squared. You want to put the bigger one in there first. So put your C in first and then your A equals. So don't want any negative numbers. I'm going to go 13 squared minus 5 squared equals, and then take the square root of that, which is 12. So that's your missing side. Okay. The next one says two joggers run 8 miles north and then 5 miles west. So first off, we know that Pythagorean theorem is a right triangle. So I'm going to start off by drawing my right triangle. Okay. If you think of a compass, what we know is that our up and down is our north and south. Okay. Our left to right is our east and west. So when he runs 8 miles north, I'm going to put that on my north to south. So that's here, 8. Then he's going to run 5 miles west. That's going to go to my left or right. So that's a 5. What is the shortest distance to the nearest tenth of a mile they must travel to return to their starting point? So they went north and then west, and then they need to go back to their starting point. So we're solving for our C. So I'm going to go ahead and label everything. This will be my A because it's the smallest one. This is my B, and we're solving for C. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. My A is 5 squared plus 8 squared equals C squared. So then I'm going to do the square root of 5 squared plus 8 squared. And it told me to round to the nearest tenth of a mile. So that means one number behind the decimal. So I'm going to do 5 squared plus 8 squared equals, and then take the square root of that. 9.4 will be my answer. Okay. The next one says Oscar's doghouse is shaped like a tent. The slanted sides, so a tent is more of this type of triangle. So it says the slanted sides, meaning there's two sides, are both 5 feet long. So this is a slanted side and this is a slanted side. And the bottom of the house is 6 feet across. What is the height of the doghouse? The height's going to be right there. So this is the picture I have so far. We want to know what the height is. So instead of using this entire triangle, what I'm going to do is take out a right triangle and solve for that. So if I take out the right triangle, it's going to look like this. It told me my slanted sides are 5, so that's the slants, that's my diagonal, that's my C. Okay, my right triangle will be right here, which is the same thing as right here. Okay, that's 5. I'm solving for my height, which is going to be, I'll say A. And this entire thing is 6, but we're only using half of it for this right triangle. So we're going to take half of 6, which is 3, and that's going to go right there. Okay, because 3 goes with this right triangle and 3 goes with that one. So that's why we didn't use the whole thing. So now I have A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I don't know my A. My B is 3 and my C is 5. When they're on two different sides, I know that I'm going to do the square root and I need to subtract. So 5 squared minus 3 squared, and I'll get my answer. So 5 squared is 25 plus 3 squared, which is 9. 25 plus 9 is 34. And then take the square root of that, which is 5.8. Okay. The next one says to get to school from a house, you must avoid walking through a lake. So if I wanted to be real fancy, I would start drawing this whole picture. So I would say school is over here. School is over here. Your house is over here, and there's a lake in the middle. Okay. So to go from school to your house, you must avoid walking through the lake. To avoid the lake, you must walk south first. So we're going to go south, and then you have to go east. So we're going to go south 34, and then we're going to go east 41. To the nearest meter, how many meters would you have saved if it were possible to walk through the lake? So if you're going to walk through the lake like this. And again, you didn't have to draw the school, have schoolhouse and the lake. Just know that if you're going north to south, that's your up or down. That's going to be the 34. And then the east to west is your left to right, and that's going to be your 41. So this is my A, my B, and I'm solving for C. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I have 34 squared plus 41 squared equals C squared. And remember, when you are adding them, or they're on the same side of the equal sign, you can simply add them. So I'm going to do a square root of 34 squared plus 41 squared and see what I get. 34 squared plus 41 squared equals, and then take the square root of that, which is 53.3. Nope, it says to the nearest meter. So that's the nearest whole number, not the nearest tenth. So the nearest meter. So that's 53. Yeah. Last one, it says a suitcase measured 24 inches. So a suitcase, or a basic suitcase, is what we're thinking of, not anything fancy. A suitcase measures 24 inches long, and it has a diagonal of 30. How much material is needed to cover one side of the suitcase? Oh, sorry, it is not a basic suitcase. It is just a right triangle. So it's 24 inches long, and it has a diagonal of 30. And it's asking how much material is needed to cover one side of the suitcase. So we have our note A, we have a B, and this is our C. Actually, we're going to cut this entire question off because you will not see one like this. I just realized what it is. So thank you and good luck.